Good morning to all teachers viewing this video resource. In delving into the Managing Stress modules, the information that I found beneficial to the classroom was the impact of stress on the student and their learning. The Stress and Your Brain video and other readings describes what exactly stress is, demonstrating long-term negative impacts on students' health. Stress can be both the enemy and a helpful tool in the quest of educating minds. Therefore, to optimize the learning in our classroom, it is integral we understand how stress works along with the appropriate tools to manage it. Stress occurs when three components of the body create a biological feedback loop to respond to an environmental stimulus. These three parts are referred to as the hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal glands. All three of them together are what is referred to in neurology as the HPA axis. Both the hypothalamus and pituitary glands, as indicated by the diagram, exist within the deep center of the brain as separate elements of the limbic system. The adrenal glands, however, exist just above the kidney and are responsible for creating the hormones related to stress. Stress is initiated when the amygdala recognizes potential dangers. As a result of protecting a particular threat, the hypothalamus is notified and begins to release a chemical called CRF. On release, this chemical travels to the pituitary gland and in response to that produces a second hormone known as ACTH. This hormone then makes the journey to the adrenal glands by passing through the blood-brain barrier and getting into the bloodstream. Once arriving to the adrenal glands, it's the produced chemicals responsible for stress are made. Once the cause of stress has been dealt with, the hypothalamus mitigates the production of the stress hormones and the body returns to a normal state. As previously stated within the video, stress both can help learning or harm learning. The graph below shows this. It calls long-term periods of stress as distress and short-term periods of stress as eustress. When I talk about through here, I talk about it in terms of negative feedback loops and positive feedback loops. Negative feedback loops is when a particular response to the body ends. A positive feedback loop is where it continues. So, stress as a negative feedback loop helps with assisting student learning. The fight or flight response instigated by stress hormones affects not just our minds, but our bodies too, as our bodies are interwoven with our minds. During the periods of stress, the body increases blood flow, respiration rate, and the energy to deal with the pressure present. Within this state, learning is also increased exponentially, and as a result, students are more motivated. Short periods of stress are integral in creating a learning environment, and controlling it falls under the application of AITSL standards 1.2 and 4.1. In the case of stress not being dealt with, a positive feedback loop is created. With chronic stress, body systems and organs can become damaged in consequence to the continuous production of stress chemicals. Communication between the immune system and the HPA axis becomes compromised, which in turn causes the contraction of numerous physical and mental health conditions. In managing stress within the classroom, there is 4 strategies which you can educate students on. These 4 strategies are to have proper nutrition, social connectedness, appropriate quality and quantity of sleep, and balanced exercise. Within saying this, the social connectedness, it is preferable if it's face-to-face, but it can also be in terms of an online environment, and essentially the stimulation of communication by both verbal, physical touch, so on and so forth, produces dopamine and relieves forms of stress. Sleep, the recommended sleep time for adolescents minimum is 8 hours. Anything longer as such or periods throughout the day can periods of naps throughout the day can actually increase stress. Nutrition, there is certain foods that are great for managing stress and promoting neuroplasticity. Particular ones I can remember off the top of my head are green veggies, fish, and other forms of protein that has omega-3 within it. And exercise, it is recommended that you should have at least 30 minutes per day. This also produces dopamine and helps with stress. By educating students on the benefits of these four, ATEL standards 4.3 and 4.4 are achieved. Challenging behaviours that occur within the classroom are created from or contributed by stress. Employing appropriate management strategies helps to create an engaging classroom, limiting challenging behaviours and improving both physical and mental health, assists with students' well-being and maintains a safe learning environment. Within this video resource, we have looked into the instigators of stress, the short and long-term impacts of stress, and ways to manage it within the classroom. In telling you this information, it's all well and good, but it's up to you as the consumer of this to consider how to apply it within the classroom and apply it to the classroom. Thanks for watching.